free from Henderson. Got it to Besser in front. Backhander scores. The puck back in. Campoli trying to clear it. Burrow just pressed. Got the puck loose to Edmonton. Back in for Alex Burrow. Gets up in the air. Now McKinnon to the side. No! With the left glove. Are you kidding me? What a save.
Hey, Canucks Nation, Brandon Alston here, play-by-play for the Edmonton Canucks. You've got it locked in the line change, the Vancouver Canucks podcast.
What's up, guys? Welcome to yet another Stanley Cup Playoffs watch party. Of course, we're covering the Edmonton Oilers and the Anaheim Ducks, Game 6, where the Anaheim Ducks get yet another chance to try and eliminate the Western Conference, or the defending Western Conference champions, Edmonton Oilers, at home in Anaheim. Of course, the Oilers this season is on the line in this one as they look to advance this to a Game 7 back home in Edmonton. Let me know right away in the chat, what are your guys' predictions for this Game 6? Who's going to win? What's the score going to be? Let me know in the chat, and actually let me pull up my poll so you guys can vote for that as well. Who do you guys think is going to win in Game 6? Type a 1 if you think it's going to be the Anaheim Ducks. Type a 2 if it's going to be the Edmonton Oilers. Let me know in the chat who do you think is going to win it here in Game 6. Can the Oilers tie up the series after being down 3-1 and forcing a Game 7 in this absolutely fantastic series between these two teams? It's been absolutely incredible. It's been close. You guys know that I'm kind of rooting for the Anaheim Ducks simply because I like their young team that they have, and that is a main reason. And it's not because I dislike the Oilers, being a Canucks fan. I just really like the Anaheim Ducks young team and am pulling for them. Plus, I do like me underdog, so that is another reason as well. But once again, let me know who do you guys think is going to win in Game 6. Type a 1 if you think it's going to be the Anaheim Ducks. Type a 2 if it's going to be the Edmonton Oilers. Let me know in the chat, who do you think is going to win? What do you think the score is going to be? And what are your predictions on who's going to score first, at least for either team? Like, who's going to score first? Is it going to be the Oilers or is it going to be the Ducks? Of course, the Oilers have scored first in every single game of this series. Will Anaheim put an end to that at home in Anaheim? Let me know. Which player do you think is going to score the first goal in this one? Is it going to be Connor McDavid, who has not had a whole lot of points? He's racked up a lot of assists, especially in that last game. Is it going to be Leon Draisaitl? Is it going to be Vasily Podkolzin? Or could it be Kasperi Kapanen? On the Ducks side, is it going to be Beckett Seneca, Cutter Gauthier, Troy Terry, or even Jackson Lacombe, who is still, of course, leading the playoffs in points, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. We're just getting set here. Looks like there's going to be an interview. Gene Scott Oak and Chris Knobloch here. Or no, never mind. I spoke too soon. Apparently that was some sort of gaffe, I guess, before the game with Nuge. But yeah, we're getting ready for the national anthem. But while we wait, I wanted to let you guys know what we're going to do in the intermission. We're actually going to be going over a couple articles over on Canucks Army that talk about the Vancouver Canucks and their GM search. I apologize, I haven't really talked much about that on this channel. I've been more focused on, the watch parties as well as, the draft. But don't worry, I will, of course, do some content relating to the GM search. But let me pull this up just so you guys can see what articles we're going to look at. For starters, we're going to look at this one. Jamie Langenbrunner, Jeff Tambellini, and Brad Pascal interview with the Canucks amid the GM search. This, of course, is a report from our good buddy David Cordrelli. So we're going to dive into that in the first intermission. We're going to go over that article, talk about it a little bit. You guys can let me know your thoughts in the comments and in the chat. And then another one that we're going to look at is going to be this one right here. Which teams do Canuck fans least want to see win the NHL draft lottery? I just find this is a interesting article, and it gets a lot of good Canuck fans' perspective on this. So we will be reading this article in the second intermission. So there you go. That is the plan for this. Let me just dive into your comments real quick while we, of course, wait for the puck to drop and for the anthems to play. Check out your comments. Ducky the movie has voted for the Edmonton Oilers, which is totally fine. Ducky the monk. Apologies for that. By the way, I've never seen you before. Welcome to the watch party. Good to have you here. Just looking at the projected Game 6 lineup, you have Draisaitl, McDavid, Kapanen, Podkolzin, Nugent Hopkins, Hyman, Savoy, Dickinson, and Rozovic, and then they cut it out before I could read the fourth line. So apologies for that. Need to be a little bit faster on that. But yeah, they're just talking to Kevin Bieksa, just going over the game. But once again, let me know, who do you guys think is going to win this one? Can the Ducks put away the Edmonton Oilers? We, of course, in that last game, it looked as though the Oilers, some have said that the Oilers woke up in that game, in that last game, coming out with an early lead in the first period. So will we see that same Oilers team to start this game, or will the Ducks have a response to that 4-1 loss that they suffered at the hands of Edmonton in Game 5? I'm just going over some highlights from Game 5, as we just mentioned. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. Let's actually, while we wait, let's quickly take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard going on right now. As you guys can see down here, Minnesota is leading Dallas 3-2 with 3:16 left in the third period. We'll take a look at this game going on right now. Let's take a look in particular at the goals. So for this one, hits are 33-32 in favor of Dallas in this one. Minnesota has had 3 power plays. Dallas has had 2. Dallas has converted on one of their power plays. The Wild are 0 for 3 on the power play in this one. Blocks are 14-12 in favor of Minnesota. Shots on goal are 22-19 in favor of in favor of Dallas. Faceoffs, Minnesota is leading that with 33 to Dallas's 24. Faceoff percentage 58% for the Wild, and of course, 42% for the Dallas Stars. Jake Ottinger, 3 goals on 16 shots, 3 goals on 19 shots, 16 saves, a .842 save percentage in this one. So he's not having his best night, but he's also not playing that bad as well. Looking at the stats here, Wyatt Johnson has one of the 2 goals for the Dallas Stars. He has 1 point here tonight. And then, of course, Maverick Bourque has the other goal. And then you see here Mikko Rantanen with an assist, a -1. And then Duchesne is a -2, but he also has an assist in this one. Taking a look at the Minnesota Wild, Lyubushkin has an assist. And, of course, Heiskanen with a -3, Harley with a -2. Volstead has had 20 saves on 22 shots, a .909 save percentage. And, of course, looking at the Minnesota Wild, you have Matt Zuccarello, who's got an assist in this one, Vladimir Tarasenko with a goal, and then Marcus Foligno with an assist as well. And then you have Nico Sturm with an assist. But looking down at the defenseman, Quinn Hughes has 2 goals and 1 assist. He has 3 points in this one. He's a +2 with 3 shots on goal, 2 blocks. He's played almost 30 minutes in this one. So he's obviously, been a driving force for the Minnesota Wild in this one. And of course, the Minnesota Wild could eliminate Dallas if Dallas does not tie this up in the next 2 minutes and 16 seconds. Then that means Minnesota is moving on and Dallas will be eliminated. But there's still a lot can happen in 2 minutes and 16 seconds, as we all know. So right now, Dallas looking to tie things up. But right now, as things stand, it looks like Minnesota could potentially be eliminating Dallas here tonight. Could we see another elimination, of course, later tonight between the Oilers and the Ducks? Let me know what you guys think in the chat. So those are the live updates for that. Of course, these are the only 2 games going on right now. believe Boston and Buffalo is actually tomorrow. So actually, let's quickly take a look at that. Let me bring up NHL.com here real quick while we still wait for this game to start. Looks like there's a bit of a delay as we're about 10 minutes into it. Usually it's pretty close. But yeah, Minnesota leads that series 3-2. And the Minnesota just actually scored again. Matt Boldy into an empty net unassisted. So it's now 4-2 Minnesota. So you may as well be able to put a fork in this one. Looks like Minnesota is going to be advancing. You know, granted, Dallas could easily score 2 goals in a minute 30, a minute 20, but it's looking like Minnesota is going to be advancing and defeating Dallas and moving on to the second round. And I believe Minnesota. Let's actually take a look at the brackets. Because I believe this would mean Minnesota goes on to face Colorado, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. So Minnesota will be facing Colorado in the second round. That is obviously going to be a tough matchup for the Minnesota Wild. Of course, Colorado, having swept their series, is very well rested, while Minnesota just went through one heck of a series between these two. The Wild and Dallas, that is. So obviously 6-game series. Colorado only had a 4-game series. So they are, as I said, very well rested. Of course, Vegas is leading the Utah series 3-2. That game happened yesterday. Vegas won in overtime. And of course, they will face the winner of Anaheim and Edmonton in the second round. One of those two teams. And of course, we have already a set matchup for the second round in the Eastern Conference between the Flyers and Carolina. Obviously, the Flyers defeated the Penguins yesterday to eliminate them and advance to the second round in overtime with one heck of a goal by Cam York. So, of course, they're going to be facing Carolina, who also swept their series, who will also be very well rested. So we'll see how Philadelphia does against Carolina, who are a powerhouse. A lot of people are speculating that Carolina might just walk right over Philadelphia, but you never know. Things have happened in the past where a team has surprised a top-seeded team. Of course, we saw the LA Kings way back in 2012, go from eighth in the conference, and they went all the way to win the Stanley Cup. We've seen that. So anything is possible. Of course, Montreal, Tampa Bay. Montreal won the other night, so they have a 3-2 series lead. Of course, they are looking to eliminate Tampa Bay. I believe their game is tomorrow. I believe it's Buffalo, Boston, and Tampa Bay, Montreal, the games that are tomorrow. That speaking of Buffalo and Boston, Buffalo leading that series 3-2. They need just one more win to eliminate the Boston Bruins to advance to the second round. So we're still getting ready for things here as we wait for the national anthems, puck drop, and everything. Should be getting there hopefully pretty relatively soon. But those are the brackets. And actually, as I say that, it is now 5-2 for Minnesota. So, yeah, Minnesota will be advancing to the next round. And they will, of course, be facing Colorado, as we mentioned earlier. So let me know what you guys think about that series between the Avalanche and the Wild. How do you think that series is going to play out? Let me know your predictions for that series. Is it going to go a full 7 games? Could it potentially be even 5 games or even 6? Let me know who do you guys think is going to win that series between the Minnesota Wild and the Colorado Avalanche. Do you think Avalanche are going to steamroll over the Wild, or do you think it is going to be a back and forth series and potentially a 7-game series in that one? As of course, that is now final. Dallas is eliminated and Minnesota is advancing to the second round. Some Canuck fans are probably going to be happy about that because of Quinn Hughes. He advances to the second round. Some Canuck fans probably won't be happy about that because, our, of course, draft pick that we got from Minnesota, although I don't think it changes until they make it to the conference final. And if they win the conference final, then it drops. It, I believe, stays the same if they lose in the conference final. So there's no change in it, but correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me on that. But of course, lots of Canucks fans are, potentially not happy about Quinn Hughes advancing. Some of them are, but obviously it's great to see Quinn Hughes thriving in Anaheim. But as I mentioned already, that's going to be one heck of a series between the Avalanche and the Minnesota Wild in that one. And I, for one, am actually looking forward to that series. So we're just getting ready for the national anthem here in Anaheim. Puck hasn't been dropped yet. So we already have our first elimination. Let me share this. So as you can see here, it's been updated already. Colorado, Minnesota in the second round. We will find out the winners of these two, I believe. So I mentioned how tomorrow is Montreal, Tampa, Buffalo, Boston. I believe Vegas and Utah play tomorrow as well. So those are the games for tomorrow. Let me actually just double check that real quick. Let me just wait for this to load. Yeah, there are 3 games happening tomorrow for Friday. You have, as I mentioned, Tampa Bay and Montreal, Buffalo and Boston. And then that's exactly, hit it right on the head right there. So it's going to be a triple header. Canadiens Lightning at 7 p.m. Eastern, Bruins and Sabres at 7:30. So there's going to be a little bit of overlap there. Then you have the late night game, Vegas Golden Knights and the Utah Mammoth, 10 p.m. Eastern on that one. And of course, let's actually take a quick look at these series real quick. Team leaders, you have Brendan Hagel with 6 goals for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Uri Slavkovsky has 3 goals for the Montreal Canadiens. Gensel has 6 assists, so he leads the team in assists there. Nick Suzuki leads the Montreal Canadiens in assists with 5. You have Vasilevsky with 2 wins. Dobish with 3 wins in this one. So he, of course, leads the team in wins, and so does Vasilevsky for his respective teams. Looking at the Bruins and Sabres, Alex Tuch leading the way for the Sabres with 3 goals. David Pastrnak leading the way for the Bruins with 2 goals. Then you have Owen Power leading the way with 4 assists for his club. And then you have Pastrnak, of course, leading the way with 4 assists, 2 goals, 4 assists, good enough for 6 points. Alex Lyon with 2 wins for the Buffalo Sabres. So he is basically he's kind of taken over the crease from UPL. So he's, of course, collected 2 great wins for the Sabres on that one. Swayman with 2 wins. We all saw how Swayman reacted to that game a few nights ago where he was pulled, was not happy with that. But looking at Vegas and the Mammoth, Pavel Dorofeyev leading the way with 4 goals for his team. Dylan Guenther with 3 goals for the Mammoth. Then you have Jack Eichel leading the way with 7 assists. And then you have Clayton Keller leading the way with 4 assists for the Utah Mammoth. And then you have, of course, got Carter Hart with 3 wins for Vegas and Karel Vejmelka with 2 wins for Utah. So those are the 3 games for Friday. Of course, you have Saturday. Of course, this one obviously not going to happen anymore because Minnesota has defeated Dallas. But this could still potentially happen on Saturday. If the Oilers win it here tonight, there will be a Game 7 on Saturday. If the Oilers lose tonight, it looks like there won't be any games on Saturday at all for the first time in it feels like forever, because it seems like there's always been a game on throughout every day this week. Of course, Sunday, there are 3 games. You have the Bruins and Sabres in a potential Game 7 if Buffalo does not defeat the Bruins on Friday. Same thing for the Montreal and Tampa Bay series, Game 7 there. And then, of course, a Game 7 for the Mammoth and the Golden Knights. So the second round won't actually start until next week. They don't actually have a schedule up yet, according to NHL.com, for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or even Thursday. So who knows when the second round will start, but I imagine that could potentially start maybe as early as Monday for the second round. But, excuse me. But there we go. We are getting things started. Anthem has been sung, and we're getting close to puck drop. Let me check out the comments here real quick. Justin, what's up, buddy? good to see you. Swerving Irvin, good to see you, buddy. Go check Twitter and see how Stars fans feel about Timers. I did see he was a healthy scratch in this one, although I don't think he would be a reason why they lost here tonight, considering he wasn't even in the lineup. But I'm just going to switch things over to here to share this tab instead. Remove that. I'm going to make this big. Not that big. There we go. And we're on the way. Oh, I didn't even see the face-off. There we go. All right, puck at center ice. Looks like Nurse whiffed on it. Quick chance there for Anaheim to start off, but it went wide. Puck around the boards. Here come the Oilers, breaking out with it. Up to Nurse, who dumps it down into the Anaheim zone. Puck down into the Oilers zone. A loud "Let's Go Ducks" chant echoing throughout the Honda Center in this one. Puck dumped down into the Oilers zone. Wired around the boards. There's Chuba. Shot on. Looks like that tipped to this, deflected to the side. McDavid shoots it wide. Oilers with it behind the net. Back to the point. One-timer by Woman. Puck goes all the way down to the Oilers zone, and it's going to be icing. Sorry, I'm just looking at what Urban suggested to look at. Great chance there by Wallman. All right, face off to the right of Dostal. All right, puck. Here come the Ducks with it. Man. All right, I'll look at that later. All right, here comes the Ducks, breaking it out past center ice. They dump it in. Ingram plays it over to Nurse. Podkolzin just chips it out. Pass over to Podkolzin. Here comes Podkolzin. Pass back to Nurse. Shot. Saved by Dostal. Pass up. Here come the Oilers, breaking it in. Szymanski battling forward in the corner. Oilers intercept it and shovel it over to the corner. Now here come the Ducks. They break it out. Here, Ducks tried to pass it to nobody, but Oilers are able to regain possession of the puck here. Anaheim with it. So far in this one, only one shot on goal for the Edmonton Oilers. Ducks with it. Pass back down to their end, to their defenseman. Trouba dumps it down into the Oilers zone. Around the boards. Kreider with it. Shot from the half marks. Saved by Ingram. And the Ducks had their first shot on goal in this one. About 4 minutes already into this first period now. Or just under 4 minutes. Face off to the right of Ingram. Oilers win the faceoff. Puck around the net. Nurse passes it back. Oilers chip it down into the Ducks zone. Off the boards, dump back down. Of course, the Oilers are 6-2 when facing elimination since 2024. Nurse passes it over. And looks like that's going to be offside on the Oilers. Savoy was slightly offside there. There we go. All right, face off. Oilers win the face off. Shot. Jerry by Dorsal. Great chance there for, I believe it was Wallman. You get set for a face-off to the, I believe it's the right of Dostal. Leon Draisaitl taking the face-off against Washi. Anaheim wins it. And the Oilers flip it out to center ice. Oilers intercept it. Puck dumped down towards the Anaheim zone. Now Anaheim tried to break it out. Now they get another chance. They dump it in deep into the Oilers zone. Veal just missed a big hit there. McDavid trying to power it through. Center it. Miss pass. Now here comes the Ducks. Killorn with it. Pass over. Missed. Tried a little back pass there, but that didn't work out. Now here comes McDavid with Draisaitl. And the Ducks are able to clear it and break it back out. Granlund fires it around the boards. Puck down low behind the net. Oh, McDavid gains possession of it. And the Oilers fire it ahead. Intercepted. Here comes Gauthier with a shot, and that goes out of play. A little bit of pushing and shoving there after that whistle between Gauthier and Nugent Hopkins. Oilers now 2 shots in this one, to Anaheim's 1. It's quite the move there by McDavid. Just shrugging off that check to get a good chance. And then Gauthier with a great chance there. But yeah, looks like Murphy may have gotten a piece of that shot. All right, face off to the left of Ingram now. Puck goes all the way down the Anaheim zone. Dostal plays it, shoots it up. Oilers with it in their own end. Nurse fires it down into the Anaheim zone. And that's going to be icing against the Oilers. There we go. Going to be another face-off in the Oilers zone. .36 left in the first period. Face-off to the right of Ingram. The Ducks win it, but the Oilers are able to gain possession of it. Loud "Let's go Ducks" echoing throughout the Honda Center here in Anaheim. Puck around the boards. Puck battle there. And the Oilers are able to get it out, and that's... Thought that may have been another icing call, but not. No. Oh. Leo Carlson overran the puck there. Bobbled it. Here comes the Ducks trying to find a lane. Now here come the Ducks. Michael Granlund around the boards, over to Helleson. Pass back up. Granlund back around the boards. And that's going to be intercepted by the Oilers. And he flips it down to center ice. Oilers dump it down into the Anaheim zone. Dostal handles it behind the net. And Oilers regain possession of it. Nurse dumps it down into the Anaheim zone. Big hit there. And quick chance. Another chance for the Oilers, but puck did not go on goal. Went wide. Puck battle behind the net. Yeah, a little bit staggered. Paling staggered a little bit. Fans are booing because there was no call. Although I don't think there was a penalty there anyway. Here's Lazar. Pass back. Here come the Oilers. Ekholm with it. Around the boards. Behind the net. Nurse. Back to McDavid. Pass back. There's Draisaitl. Over to McDavid. Waits. McDavid still with it. Back to the point. There's Ekholm. Down to McDavid. Back to. There's Bouchard with a shot. Just wide. And the puck goes all the way down into the Oilers zone. So they're going to have to regroup. Here comes Leon Draisaitl. Taking it up. Makes a nice little move to get past a Anaheim player at the center ice. Ekholm. Round the boards. Bouchard picks it up. Over to Ekholm. Fakes the shot. Tried to pass it. And then it went off McDavid's skate. And it goes all the way down to the Oilers. Goes all the way down to the Oilers zone. And we have another icing. Shots are still 2-1 for the Oilers. Yeah, about halfway point and only 3 shots between the two sides. Face off to the left of Dostal. Well, right off the draw, Nugent Hopkins. Big hit by Nugent Hopkins. Almost between the hash marks there. Puck battle on the corner. Oilers put it around the boards to Wallman, who dumps it back in. Here's Podkolzin to the point, and that's going to be an errant pass that's going to go all the way down to the Oilers' end. Wallman passes it up. Puck flip down into the Ducks zone. Here comes Anaheim now. Pass up, pass center ice. They dump it down into the Oilers zone. Murphy with it. Pass over to Nurse. Nurse dumps it off the boards, but Anaheim's able to gain possession of the puck. Now here comes the Oilers. Roslovic shot. John Carlson is able to block that shot. Ducks move it up. Around to Granlund. Shot and saved by Ingram. There's some pushing and shoving in front of the Oilers net there. A lot more tighter of a first period, as of course no goals, with about just under 10 minutes into this first period. We have no goals in this one, and only let me quickly take a look. Only 3 shots in this one. So still only 3 shots with 10:17 left on the first period as we go to a commercial break here. But once again, if you guys have not voted in the poll, you guys can still do so. Type a 1 in the chat if you think the Anaheim Ducks are going to win. Type a 2 in the chat if you think the Edmonton Oilers are going to win here tonight in Game 6. I will leave this poll up until the end of the second intermission. All right. Quick little commercial. So once again, for those of you just tuning in, the Minnesota Wild defeat the Dallas Stars just prior to the start of this game. So they eliminate the Dallas Stars, and they're advancing to the second round to take on the Colorado Avalanche in what is bound to be one heck of a series between two very good teams, that being the Wild and the Colorado Avalanche. So let me know your guys' predictions for that series in the chat. Who do you think is going to come out on top in that series between the Avalanche and the Wild in the second round? Let me know how many games you think it's going to go. Do you think it's going to go 7 games? Do you think it's going to go 6, maybe 5? Do you think Colorado could maybe potentially do another sweep? Although I don't think that is actually going to happen. I think this is going to be a 7-game series. But it looks like the Ducks have scored. My feed is slightly behind. So the Ducks are up to a 1-0 lead here. I really hate how Sportsnet Plus is behind. Shot. And goal. And it looks like it's Ryan Poehling. And it's 1-0 Anaheim. Ryan Poehling once again. This is now Poehling's 4th goal of the series in this one. Yeah. Poehling just barely touched it. Looks like it bounced off an Oilers skate, and Poehling is just able to touch it. And Anaheim is up 1-0 for the first time in this series. And this Honda Center is absolutely a rockin' right now. Puck battle there. The Oilers blue line. Nurse snaps it down into the Anaheim zone. Pass up. Here comes Anaheim breaking it out. Ooh. Washy checked by Draisaitl as that is a offside. Hey, Rain. Good to see you, buddy. Interesting that the show OT losses, even though they don't matter in the playoffs. No such thing as loser points. I think it's just a standard, the way it's set up, I think. I don't know. Yeah, I know. I noticed that too. But good to see you, Big Brain. Big Brain Rain. Face off won by the Ducks, who dump it down into the Oilers zone. Looks like Draisaitl just got taken down. Back down into the Ducks zone. Shots are now 2-2 between the two sides. So only 4 shots total between the two teams, and we're under 10 minutes left in this first period. But one of those 2 shots for Anaheim has gone into the net. Killorn battling with Bouchard there. And now here comes McDavid. Breaking down. Spins. Draisaitl with a move. Backhander, miss the net. Anaheim, clear it. Ducks, here come the Oilers. McDavid fighting in. Back to the point. And John Carlson trying to pick up his stick. He lost his stick on that McDavid play there. Back to Wallman. Listen. Back to Emberson, shot, blocked. Now here comes Anaheim. Almost we're trying for a 2-on-1 there, but Seneca was at the end of his shift. Now here come the Oilers breaking it out. And they try to flip it in, and it's intercepted by the Ducks. There's Troy Terry's shot, saved by Ingram as he covers it. Great chance there for Troy Terry. Yeah, 7.5 left to go in this first period as we go to a commercial break. But once again, let me know who you guys think is going to win this game here tonight. Now that Anaheim has the 1-0 lead, let me know. Is it going to be the Anaheim Ducks or the Edmonton Oilers? Let me know in the chat. And yeah, let me know who you think is going to win. And let me know what the score is going to be. Is it going to be 3-2? Is it going to be 4-3? Is it going to be another score? Let me know in the chat what you think the final score for this one is going to be. So as we take a look at the last 10 plays here. Of course, as we mentioned, Paling with his 4th of the playoffs, assisted by John Carlson, that is, and Cutter Gauthier. So that is the lone goal in this one. Rand Paling really coming up big in these playoffs for the Anaheim Ducks. Of course, he had that controversial goal 2 games ago. So, and he's got another one here in this one. Already his 4th of the playoffs. As we get ready for this commercial to end here. Justin goes, Ducks have to win tonight. Else, I think Oilers in 7. I'll say it goes 4-3 in OT. I wouldn't mind seeing a game. I mean, it's like I said earlier, if the Ducks win here tonight, there won't be any games tomorrow. As you know, Minnesota, Dallas was supposed to go not tomorrow, Saturday. There will be no, if Anaheim wins, there's going to be no games on Saturday unless they add again, which I don't think they're going to do. But there'll be no games on Saturday if the Ducks win here tonight. As Minnesota, Dallas was supposed to play on Saturday if it went to a game 7. Of course, we know that's not going to happen. So if Anaheim wins, we're going to have no hockey on a Saturday night for a change. Unless you want to watch like the WHL, which I actually haven't looked at what their schedule is. So face off to the left of Ingram here. Oilers are able to gain possession of it off the face-off there as it stumped into the Ducks zone. Ducks tried to pass it up, but it was broken up by Nugent Hopkins. Oilers with it. Hyman to the point. Carl's shot, saved by Dostal. Murphy gets it into the corner. There's Hyman with it. Playing it behind the net. Back to the point. Here's Nurse. Shot, his stick blocks. Nurse playing it with his skate as he goes to the bench to get some new hardware. Oilers with it. Oilers with it in their own zone. Pass up. David to the point. Shot. Went wide. Scores. 2-0 Ducks. So the Ducks take a 2-0 lead and now are all of a sudden up to 5 shots in this one. And yeah, just like what Justin said, what a goal. What a shot by Kreider. one-timer, and it beats over the glove short side on Ingram. And Ducks lead 2-0. Anaheim with it in their own end. Here comes Seneca. Pass up. Tried to feed it to Granlund, who regained possession of it. Sorry. Just knocked my chips over. Dish backhander went wide. Ingram completely out of position on that one. Granlund tried to feed it over to Seneca. Seneca with it. Dishing down to Granlund. Puck is now behind the net. Killorn back to Granlund. Back to the point. To Seneca. Pass down to Granlund. Shot wide. Ducks pressuring here a little bit. And the Oilers able to clear it out to center ice. And the Oilers will change. Here come the Ducks now. Oilers with it, breaking out. Able to chip it into the Ducks zone. Nurse with it. Down low. Shot. Saved by Dostal. Rebound. Oilers score. It looks like that may have been Connor Murphy. Puts it in. Yeah, looks like it's Connor Murphy. Gets Oilers on the board in this one. Yeah, Oilers definitely needed that one. Little bit of puck luck there for the Oilers, as Dostal wasn't able to control that. Nice pass there by Szymanski to Murphy. That is Murphy's second career playoff goal. And the Oilers have a chip into this lead. They're now only down by 1. Shots are now 5-3 in favor of the Ducks. As the Ducks try to break it out, it looks like there's going to be a whistle. Looks like the Oilers are getting a penalty on Nugent Hopkins, so the Ducks are going to go to the power play in this one as we go to a commercial break here. Of course, the mosh pit, they're in Edmonton, going crazy for that Murphy goal. But what are you guys' thoughts on the first, 14, 15 minutes of this game? The Ducks coming out with a lead for the first time in this series, scoring first. Of course, we all know the Oilers had scoring first in every single game up until tonight. Let me know how you think these two teams have matched up. Obviously, not as many shots as we're used to, but that, of course, we're now up to 9 shots for both sides, 5 for the Ducks, and then 4, of course, for the Oilers. Once again, just a reminder for those of you in the live chat, you guys can still vote who you think is going to win here tonight in Game 6. Type a 1 if you think it's going to be the Oilers. Type a 1 if you think it's going to be the Ducks. Type a 2 if you think it's going to be the Oilers. And also, let me know in the chat too. Who would you rather? Let me quickly look at. Can't believe I just had a bit of a brain fart. at a brain fart who these two teams might face in the next round. Yeah, 2 minutes for holding on Ryan Nugent Hopkins here. So the winner, that's right. The winner of this faces Vegas or Utah. Let me know in the chat. Who do you guys think? Who would you rather them face? Utah or Vegas? And which one? Oilers or the Ducks? Which do you think would be a better matchup between these four teams? Let me know what you guys think in the chat. Urban with the brain fart. Yeah. So, of course, the Ducks on the power play face off to the left of Ingram. The Oilers are able to gain possession of it off the face off. Here comes McDavid driving the net. And Anaheim's able to regain possession of the puck here as they bring it into the Oilers zone. Playing keep away. Seneca with it. Round the boards to the point. Lacombe with it. Pass back down to Seneca. Back to Fish. Gauthier tried to one-time it, but it looked like it was blocked. Gauthier dumps it down behind the net. Seneca around the boards. Back to the point. Over to Gauthier. Shot. Wide. Anaheim with it. Back to Seneca. Takes it off his skate. McTavish. Back. One-timer by Gauthier. Shoots. Scores. So it is now 3-1 for the Ducks now. And Connor Ingram, 3 goals on 6 shots. Could we maybe see Knobloch go to Jari? Looks like that went off the stick of Nurse and deflected into the net. And the face-off won by the Ducks. As the puck goes deep into the Oilers zone. Gauthier with his 4th of the playoffs, assisted by Lacombe and McTavish. As the Oilers break it out to center ice, puck goes off a skate. So Lacombe with yet another point. Shot goes wide. Anaheim gets it out of their zone, dumps it all the way down into the Oilers zone. Oilers pick it up. Pass back. Here come the Oilers. They chip it in. It goes down to Dosal, just puts it off to the side. That puck goes past Wallman. Looks like the crowd is serenading Connor Ingram in this one. Rozovic shoots it off the bar. He walked right in. Here comes Troy Terry. Shot, and that deflects, and Ingram is able to glove it down for a whistle. So, things started off pretty slow to start this one. And now all of a sudden we have 4 goals with just a little under 2 minutes left in this one. And yeah, Rozovic able to pick it up, and he flips it up and just goes right off the bar. And you see Rozovic, just the look on his face. Face off to the left of Ingram. Blasted by Carlson, and that's gloved. Saved by Ingram as we get another whistle. Ducks now up to 8 shots on goal in this one. Shots are now 8-5 for Anaheim with 1:46 left in this first period. Ducks up 3-1. Face off once again to the left of Ingram. Seneca with it. Puts it down into the corner. Puck battle just to the side of the net there. Oilers able to come out with the puck. Oilers able to chip it in. Mintukov to Carlson to Killorn, who, as it escapes the zone down into the Oilers' end. Murphy with it. Pass up. Hopkins just chips it in. Dosal just puts it to the side there. Here come the Ducks now. Up the center ice. Chip it in. Ducks tried to chip it in, but Podkolzin is able to steal it. Final minute of the first period now. Blasted by Woolman. That goes wide. That is chipped down into the Oilers zone. Ingram now. Paling. Great save by Ingram. He was out of position. Looks like there might be a penalty on somebody. Too many men on the ice is what I'm hearing. But for which team? Ingram. So looks like the Ducks. Fuck these Oilers. Ingram. So I believe the Ducks might be going on the power play in this one. Hey, SGA. Oh, yeah. So Anaheim goes to the power play once again with 41.1 seconds left in this first period. Gauthier on the face-off to the right of Ingram. Won by the Ducks to the point. Lacombe. Shot in front, saved by Ingram. McTavish with it. Down. One-timer by Gauthier again. Here come the Oilers now, breaking it out. They dump it down into the Ducks zone. Under 20 seconds left in this first period. Here come the Ducks for maybe one last rush. Here come the Ducks. Pass down. Back to the point. Lacombe. Okay. Back to Lacombe. Mish. One with a shot, and that went off a body. And that's going to do it for the first period. So to start the second period, the Ducks are going to have 1:19 on the power play, as the shots are now 11-7 in favor of the Anaheim Ducks to end this first period. I'm doing okay, Shuttle. How are you? Ducks power play looks so efficient with their puck movement and shots. Yeah, their power play is so good. That's why, Oilers need to stay out of the box, because their power play is absolutely, lethal in this one. This power play is fire. Too many goons on the ice penalty. Zach Seaman will serve it. Oh, Alfred, I love you, man. So good. All right, we're going to the first intermission now. So I'm going to quickly load up this article that we're going to chat about. Once again, before I do that, you guys can still vote in the poll. Type A1 if you think the Ducks are going to win. Type A2 if you think the Oilers are going to win. You guys, and we will take a look at it at the end of the second intermission to see what you guys voted for. But let me share this tab instead. We are going to take a look at this article to start things off. This one is Jamie Langenbrunner, Jeff Tambellini, and Brad Pascal interview with the Canucks amid GM search reports. This article, of course, written by our good buddy David Quadrelli, Quads from Canucks Army and Canucks Conversation. And he says, add 3 more names to the list of candidates for the Vancouver Canucks GM job. According to reports from Czech TV's Rick Dollywall and TSN's Pierre LeBrun, Jamie Langenbrunner, Jeff Tambellini, and Brad Pascal interviewed with the Canucks following the club's search for their next general manager. Add Calgary Flames AGM Brad Pascal as another candidate who was interviewed with the Canucks as well, LeBrun reported Thursday morning. Jamie Langenbrunner also interviewed with the Canucks and was very impressive, Dhaliwal added in a post to X. Dhaliwal later added that the Canucks have also interviewed Jeff Tambellini as well. So taking a look at Jamie Langenbrunner, obviously those of you that grew up in the 90s and were watching hockey back in the 90s, that name probably sounds very familiar. Of course, he was a former player. Now he is, of course, in head office for the Boston Bruins and has been since 2015, where he started out as a developmental coach. He was promoted to Director of Player Development in 2019 before once again being elevated to Assistant General Manager in 2022. Langenbrunner currently serves as an Assistant GM for the Bruins. As a player, Langenbrunner played over 1,000 games in the NHL with stops in Dallas, New Jersey, and St. Louis. Obviously, people are more so remember him for his time in Dallas as well as New Jersey. Langenbrunner won Stanley Cups with the Stars in 1998-99 and with the Devils in 2002-2003. Brad Pascal. Following his pro career, Brad Pascal quickly worked his way up to serving as GM and Vice President of Hockey Ops for Hockey Canada before taking a job with the Calgary Flames in 2014. A native of Coquitlam, Pascal is well regarded in Calgary for his work in leading the Flames' developmental system. Since 2014, Pascal has, of course, served as the Flames' assistant GM, and for most of those years as the GM of their AHL affiliate. In 23-24, Pascal was elevated to Flames' Vice President of Hockey Ops, a role he still holds to this day. Pascal also served as co-GM alongside Joe Thornton for Canada's 2024 and 2025 Spangler Cup teams. Following Brad Treliving's departure from Calgary, the Flames GM job ultimately came down to Pascal and Craig Conroy. Obviously, the Flames elected to go with Conroy. We have now, of course, Jeff Tambellini. Tambellini's post-playing career featured a brief stop in the NCAA as an assistant coach with Michigan, then a slightly longer stint in the BCHL as the Trail Smoke Eaters' head coach and GM. Tambellini joined the Tampa Bay Lightning as a collegiate scout in 2020-2021 before accepting a role as Director of Player Development with the Seattle Kraken in 22-23. He then rejoined the Lightning this season, holding the titles of AGM and Director of Hockey Operations. Dhaliwal also reported on Wednesday that the Canucks had interviewed Patrick Burke, son of ex-Canuck GM and longtime NHL executive Brian Burke. Later in the day, Thomas Strands reported that Florida Panthers assistant GM Brett Peterson has been a part of the Canucks' GM search as well. So that is the latest update on the GM search for the Canucks. Of course, we know that they're going to be starting actual interviews, they did Zoom call interviews, and it looks like they are likely going to condense that list and they're going to be in-person interviews. So there is still a chance potentially that we could see a general manager named by the draft. Of course, I know we're only a matter of days away from the draft lottery. But they said if they don't name a GM by the lottery, they will most likely have a GM named by the draft. I don't really think they need to rush it and have it done by the lottery. So they can still take their time. And obviously they are going to want a GM in place by the draft, as I mentioned. But let's quickly take a look at this one, since we still got some time. What does the future hold after Niels Höglander's worst career season? This is, of course, a year in review for Niels Höglander. Obviously, you guys know, if you guys have been following along with the channel throughout the season, throughout the post games, I am a huge Niels Höglander fan. And I really did not like how he was constantly scratched. Yes, he wasn't putting up the points, but, in order for a guy to put up points, he needs to be on the ice. And he wasn't on the ice very often. Granted, he didn't do much when he was on the ice, but I also feel as though Adam Foote didn't really give him a chance, especially coming back from that ankle injury. So we're going to take a look at the year in review for Niels Höglander. And suffice to say that Niels Höglander did not have a good 25-26 season. This article written by Michael Liu. This was written earlier today. Even in the backdrop of a historically bad season for the Vancouver Canucks, it was difficult to watch the Swede struggle in the way that he did. preseason ankle injury ensured that his campaign would be abbreviated no matter what. And unfortunately, that came back to haunt Höglander in a very big way. The team itself did nothing to help him, but at the same time, at the age of 25 and on a $3 million AAV deal, one would have hoped that Höglander would take the next step to become an important depth contributor for this Canucks team. That simply just didn't happen this past year. And it now puts into question what the future might hold for the 2019 second rounder. So, how did this 25-26 season actually look for Nils Höglander? Let's take a look at his season. Going down in the preseason was not an auspicious start to things for Höglander, with a slightly down 24-25 campaign that saw him take a step back from his previous career high in goals. Hope was that the winger could turn that trajectory back around with a strong bounce back 25-26 year, just like the rest of the team. With Höglander able to step back into 20-goal form, who knew what the Canucks could have in store? Unfortunately, as we all know, that just wasn't the case. That ankle injury and subsequent injury cost Höglander about 8 to 10 weeks, meaning that he wouldn't see his first game action of the 25-26 season until December 8th against Detroit. The tweet from Rick Dollywall from December 1st. Canucks were hoping that Thatcher Demko would join the team on the road, but he did not. He continues to rehab at home. Nils Höglander has joined the team on the road, but is not close yet. That was, of course, December 1st. Of course, it wasn't for another week that Höglander actually got in, was able to return. It was clear that the injury cost Höglander important preparation time. He looked disjointed and not quite up to game speed, which makes sense given the inability to actually do much skating or other hockey activities in relation to what he had hurt. However, Höglander was also done no favors in terms of the deployment that he received. Until January 13th, after 12 games played, Höglander never saw more than 14 minutes of ice time in a single game. In fact, the majority of his time in the lineup was spent buried in the bottom six, playing alongside players that don't exactly drive play, making it difficult for a complementary winger like Höglander to really get anything going. And that was if he played, as Höglander also found himself in and out of the lineup with scratches, given the fact that he was already struggling for rhythm. Being a scratch on some nights and then reinserted a couple nights later surely didn't help matters. This tweet from Tyson Cole back on April 4th, 2026, so earlier this month. Canucks head coach Adam Foote confirms Nikita Tolopilo starts tonight versus Utah. Evander Kane comes in for Curtis Douglas. Höglander sits again. Victor Mancini in for DPD on the backhand. Ironically, Adam Foote's reasoning for this was for Höglander to find reliability and consistency. He did a lot of great things offensively down low, Foote said to Patrick Johnson of the province back in March when talking about the winger. There's a few things: getting caught in double-ups, losing possession in the offensive zone, and or managing the puck at the offensive blue line. Things that we want to snuff out will make him more consistent and more reliable. Now, by the end of the season, the counting numbers weren't kind to Höglander at all. And 38 games played, the Swede only managed to record 2 goals and 3 assists for 5 points, finishing as a -4 on the season as well. Not numbers one would have been hoping for out of him, especially with the hope that he would take a step back to his 23-24 form. But doesn't that sound like a common thing for this entire organization going into 25-26? Consistency and reliability were hard to find for the entire Vancouver Canucks organization throughout this past year. It's hard to truly fault Höglander for being a symptom of the problems that plagued this whole team, and that abbreviated start to the season surely didn't help matters at all. Was this season a disappointment for him? Absolutely. But the exact same thing could be said about the entire roster around him. At the very least, Höglander's attitude can't be faulted. He has taken his scratches on his own back and was putting in the work to return to being an everyday player in the Canucks lineup. And he's someone who has said that he's excited to be around for the rebuild, something that Vancouver finally stared down the barrel and got around to doing after this tire fire. It'll be interesting to see what the future holds for him. Höglander was just named to Team Sweden's World Championship roster, which could bode well for him to build some more confidence and get more high-level game action. Of course, this is the tweet highlighting the rosters. Of course, Ivar Stenberg's going to be on that team, along with Höglander, as well as Anton Frandell, Liam Ogren, Viggo Bjork's going to be on that team as well. But going into 26-27, Höglander's name is definitely going to be tossed around in more trade conversations. And I've talked about this on this channel too. Canucks have a variety of options for what they could do with him, from keeping him through the rebuild to see if he can find his game again, or ship him off to get even younger. It's hard to really get a gauge of whether Höglander is a part of their long-term plans. He is, of course, 25 years old. He's still relatively young, as I just mentioned. All things considered, but depending on what window the Canucks are trying to aim for, especially with some higher selections in this upcoming draft, Höglander could find himself expendable, and that is something that I've actually talked about. They could use him as a trade chip at the draft, especially if the Canucks want to move up in the draft and want to maybe entice a team to give up maybe a higher pick in the first round. Like, for example, within, between 10th overall and 20th overall, if they're trying to move up, they could entice teams by, throwing in Höglander as a little sweetener. But let me know what you guys think about that in the chat. Of course, back in January, there were teams that were reportedly calling on Höglander. We actually talked about that on this channel. We did a video on that, actually. Whichever is the case, the 25-26 season for Nils Höglander individually is certainly not going to factor positively into these conversations. Career lows, being in and out of the lineup after a preseason injury, this, of course, is the kind of year that most players want to flush from their memory. And that is the end of that article. Let me know what you guys thought about that one. So, love that you guys have done more voting. Voting right now is at a 50-50 tie between the two teams. Of course, we see Justin Incredible with the dig the fucking rent happening in the locker room right now. Yeah. So Elfren's got no finalist three-peat for Edmonton fucking Oilers. Come on now. On that note, since I just it looks like Teemu Solani's in the building in Anaheim, waving the towel around. That's cool to see. But let me know what you guys think in the chat about the Colorado and Minnesota series. Do you think that one is going to go a full 7 games? Do you think it may be 6 games, 5 games? Who do you think is the better team between those two? And who are you predicting to win that series? Let me know in the chat what your thoughts are on that. Supposedly, Duck fans threw Oilers hockey cards into the urinals at the Honda Center. That's freaking hilarious. If that's, true. That is so hilarious. I mean, I'm pretty sure the Oilers would be doing the same thing if it was in Edmonton. So, but once again, thank you guys for showing up. I really appreciate those of you that are in the chat. Elfren, Justin, Swervin earlier. Obviously I saw Shardle as well. And I guess I can now reveal it. Depending on what time this game ends, if it ends at 10, so be it. But later tonight, I'll actually be on Headspace Hockey, talking to the boys, potentially about this game, about the playoffs in general, and some other stuff. So be on the lookout for Headspace Hockey tonight. Going to be a great show. Very much looking forward to appearing with the boys on that one. Abs, the heavy faves, but I think Wild can put up a fight. Makar, Hughes, McKinnon, Kaprizov. Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think the Wild are going to definitely put up a bigger fight than the Kings did, for sure. So I hope Colorado isn't going into this series thinking that, because it's probably going to burn them if that's their thinking. And yes, I completely agree, Justin. It's going to be a great matchup between those two powerhouses with lots of talent, like offensive talent, defensive talent, even goaltending. Wallstead has been absolutely incredible for the Wild. And of course, Wedgwood has been incredible for the Avs. Could we maybe see the backups get into this series at all? Perhaps not. But Justin says looking forward to it. Hype for Headspace Hockey later. Yeah, that's been in the works for quite some time now. So I'm glad I can finally get it off my chest. I don't have to keep it in anymore. I don't have to keep quiet about it anymore. Should be a good one. I will say it's probably going to be a little emotional, just a heads up. But yeah, we are gonna obviously talk hockey, talk playoffs, talk Canucks, maybe the GM search. Although I haven't been paying too much attention to the GM search, I've been, of course, more focused on the draft in this one. So, speaking of the draft, I did a video yesterday talking about the Ruck Twins. Let me know what you guys thought of that. It's looks like it's gotten some attention just based off of the views. So if you guys haven't checked that out yet, definitely check that video out. Actually, here, let me quickly bring that up. Looks like Scott Oak talking to Timu Solani right now. You'd love to freaking see it. Just waiting for this to load. Excuse me. All right, just getting this loaded. So here we go. There we go. Share this tab. All right, this. Here. This one right here is the one I'm talking about. That I did about the Ruck Twins, up to 75 article that I found that I thought was fascinating, talking about the actual feasibility of the Canucks actually getting both Ruck Twins. And there are some in that article, which you guys can check out on Canucks Army, as well as watching the video, of course. But they that article actually has some really good options for the Canucks to actually draft both of those players, both Ruck Twins, as we get set for the second period here now. As the puck is dropped, Oilers with it. I'm going to turn the volume up. No. There we go. Second period underway. Ducks with it. And of course, reminder, Ducks are still on the power play in this one. About a minute or so left in the power play. Carlson with it. Passes it back. Here, and Kapanen steals it. Here come the Oilers now. Short-handed. Ducks with it. About 30 seconds left on the power play in this one. Carlson shoots it wide. Puck back to Lacombe. Back to Lacombe. Back to Granlund. Down low. Stick handle, and the Oilers able to clear it. And I believe that's going to do it for the power play. So the Ducks are now 1 for 2 on the power play to start the second period. Lacombe passing it up, and of course the penalty is over. Washi. Vio gives it away. Here come the Oilers. Bouchard is able to get it, and collision from Bouchard. Down into the Ducks zone. Vio with it, round the net. Gets knocked off the puck there. Granlund shoots it wide. So great chance there by Granlund. Lacombe fires it. Saved by Ingram. Rebound, and the Oilers are able to get it briefly, but the Ducks regain possession and dump it into the corner. Down low for Seneca. Here's Seneca. Puts the brakes on. There's Lacombe. Shot. Saved by Ingram. Nice little chance there for Anaheim. Hey, Harry. How's it going, buddy? I'm doing good. How are you? Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. Yeah, damn, Colorado versus Minnesota around you. Yeah, Justin and I were talking about that earlier. It's going to be one heck of a series. And definitely is going to be a very different series than what we saw between Colorado and LA. All right. Oilers with it. Ducks are able to intercept the puck. Puck in the corner. Ducks with it again. Back to the point. There's Mintyukov. Shot wide. And looks like puck's going to go out of play. Who's facing the Canes? It's going to be Philadelphia is facing the Canes in the second round. So it's going to be Carolina versus Philadelphia in round 2. And definitely Philadelphia is going to be the underdogs in that one. I've seen some people think Carolina is going to steamroll over Philadelphia, but who knows? Face off to the left of Ingram. Ducks win the face-off. Back to the point. Oh, Oilers break it out now. Puck dumped down into the Anaheim zone. Anaheim with it. Hines with it. Ducks are able to get it out, and they dump it down into the Oilers zone. And that's not going to be icing. Now here come the Oilers around the boards. Savoy. Now here come the Ducks. Paling shot wide. Paling with it. Back to the point. Around the boards. There come the Oilers. Oilers able to dump it down into the Duck zone. Lacombe almost lost the handle of it there. Almost gave it away right in front of the net. Yikes. And puck goes down into the Oilers zone. Ekholm with it. Passes it up to Bouchard. The puck goes back around the net. Oilers able to clear it. And that's going to be icing. Yeah, 5 days until draft lottery. Can't wait. McKenna, you're a Canuck. I freaking no. Fingers crossed. I freaking hope so. Canucks deserve it. How many ping pong balls do each team get? That's actually a really good question, Harry. I actually do not know. I wish I had the answer for you, but I don't. I am not sure. Supposedly it's going on at 4 p.m. That's at least what the Canucks are reporting when they posted that image of the draft lottery, because apparently they're doing something at the sports bar, some sort of watch party at the sports bar, and they're also doing a watch party on their website. And of course, we all know that I'm going to be going to the watch party, Canucks Army watch party at Greta. I'll be there live. So as I mentioned in a few streams ago, I won't be recording live from Greta, but I will be doing a live stream later that night as like a reaction to what went down at in the lottery, and as well as at the watch party. Here comes Hyman. Breakaway. Saved by Dostal. Yeah, Canucks have a 55% chance at third. Their best chance is to draft third. Their highest odds are to draft third. 25.5 for first, and I believe it's 18 of them drafting second overall in this one. Yeah, great save there by Dostal as faceoff is won by the Ducks. Around the net. Ducks are able to chip it up. Why are you worried now? Either way, we're still going to get a top 3 pick, so I'm not worried. Giveaway, Ducks with a great chance. They're saved by Ingram. Looks like Ingram's kind of calmed down a little bit here after allowing 3 goals on 6 shots in the first. There's Troy Terry with it. Shot saved by Ingram. Back to Lacombe. Over Terry. Shot blocked. over 5 minutes into the second period. Shots are 15-8 in favor of Anaheim now. McDavid tied up there at the bench. Bouchard tried to, and here comes Troy Terry again. Shot, saved by Ingram, puck loose, and the Oilers able to get it and get it out of the zone. Here comes Draisaitl. Shot, saved by Dostal. Ducks are able to flip it out. Wallman took a bit of a spill as a whistle. Seaman got robbed. How many teams can move up in the draft lottery? I think it's the top 10, right? Top 10. Because remember, Islanders moved up last year, and they were like way back. They moved up like 10 spots. So I think it's the top 10, I believe. I could be, don't quote me on that. I could be mistaken on that. Chance for Hyman, who just puts it wide. Puck escapes the zone and goes all the way down to the Oilers zone, and they're going to call it icing against Anaheim. Crowd not happy about that icing call. Maybe felt as though Wallman was kind of lagging it there. Win by Edmonton. Offside on the Oilers. Wallman. Yeah, Hyman absolutely robbed by Dostal, trying to go backhand. And as we go to a commercial here. So there you go. There you go, Harry. There's your answer. Thank you for that, Elf. Appreciate it. Yes, top 10 have a chance to win the lottery. The remaining 6 can only move up by 10 spots for the lottery. Thank you for clarifying that, Alfred. Appreciate it, bud. I couldn't remember exactly, so I wasn't sure if I was 100% correct on that. Once again, you guys can still vote for who you guys think is going to win in this one. Right now, it's 50-50 in our poll right now. So if you think the Ducks are going to win, type a 1. If you think the Oilers are going to win, type a 2. You can also do it on X. If you guys are watching on X, you guys can do it on there as well. So go ahead and let me know who you guys think is going to win here in Game 6. So we have a commercial here. There we go. Once again, shots for the Ducks, 16 and 9 for the Oilers in this one. As we're getting ready here, 13:41 left in the second period. What? All right, face off. Oilers dumped down into the Ducks zone. Couldn't really see who won the face off there. Oilers with it. So they bring it back down to their end. It's like Murphy passes it up. Ducks regain possession of it, and they off the boards down into the Oilers zone. Ingram with it, fires it up, pass. Here come the Oilers, breaking it in the corner. Back to Murphy with a one-timer, and he just barely got enough on that. Turned aside by Dostal. And that goes all the way. Here comes Gauthier. Shot, Saved by Ingram. McTavish was wide open there, but Gauthier had to shoot it there. Shots in this period is 6-2 in this period. So Oilers only 2 shots on goal in this one. One of those being that Hyman chance. Here come the Ducks. Pass up. Ducks breaking it out through center. Here's Seneca. Shot. Saved by Ingram. What? Duck quack. Quack, quack. What? You know, now that we can't do the Patrick Alvin impersonation anymore, Alf, can't do my Vancouver Canucks. Can't do it anymore because he gone. At least I can do my Stone Cold Steve Austin. What? What? All right, here come the Ducks. Sorry, that was random, but, here we go. Face off. Ducks win it. Seneca with it. Fires it, and that goes off, looks like a skate. The Ducks with just over 7 minutes of offensive zone possession in this one. Oilers with 5:26 in this game so far. There's Killorn with it. Breaking in, shoots, set up by Ingram, and he covers it up. .12:04 left in the second period. Shots are now 19-9 for the Ducks. This seems to be a bit of a pattern in this series that the Ducks severely outshoot the Oilers in these. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. I believe it's been almost every single game where the Ducks have actually outshot the Oilers. Correct me if I'm wrong. But at least from the games that I've watched, the Ducks have always been outshooting the Oilers. Although I believe that is something they didn't really do in the last game. Yeah. Yeah, Oilers are definitely getting outshot. Yeah, Kreider just got a piece of that. Ericom Podkolzin dumps it down into the Ducks zone. Dostal plays it over to Hines. Almost gave it away there, but Ducks got away with it there. Here comes Carlson. Pass down to Kreider. Shot. Short side looked like it went wide. All the way back down to the Ducks zone. Puck around the boards. No, and that's going to be icing. It's going to be icing on the Ducks. Whoa! All right, the Ducks with it. And they chip it down into the Oilers zone. Washy with it. All right, in front, Washy. Ripped wide. Lacombe. Trouba with a shot. Lacombe. Back to Trouba. Fires it into the corner. The Oilers are able to regain possession of it. As Kapanen with it. Fires it down into the Ducks zone. Draisaitl there, battling with Lacombe. Draisaitl with it behind the net. Tried to bank it there, but to no avail. Here come the Ducks. They fire it down into the Oilers zone. Oilers with it. Fire it up the boards. What a pass to Draisaitl. Ducks with it. Trying to get it out. Goes wide. Now the Ducks are able to clear it. Banked off the glass there. Ducks get it again. And Lacombe. Savoy with a shot. Saved by Dostal. Great save by Dostal there as the puck goes all the way down to the Oilers zone. Something going on the ice, saying it should have been maybe icing on the Oilers there. Yeah, great chance there by Savoy. Can be an icing. All right, Oilers with it, winning off the draw, shot wide. McComb with it, chips it down. Oilers able to keep it in. Hyman back to Bouchard. Tried to feed it back to Hyman, but he lost handle of it. Hyman with it now again. Nugent Hopkins with it in the corner. Feeds it to the point to Bouchard. That shot was blocked. Ducks are able to get it out to center ice. There's Bouchard with it. Fires it around the board. Tries to fire it around the boards, but the Ducks are able to get it out. McTavish hounding Bouchard there. Bouchard passed over. Back to Bouchard as he fires it up. Oilers fire it down into the Anaheim zone. Get a quick change. There we go. Ducks are able to clear it. Murphy is able to get back up into the Ducks zone, but the Ducks intercept it. Here come the Ducks now. Shots are now 20-11 for the Ducks. A loud "Let's Go Ducks" chant echoing throughout the Honda Center. And that goes down into the Oilers zone for icing. Where I belong, West Virginia. Here we go. Down into the Oilers zone. One-timer. Saved by Ingram. Some pushing and shoving in front of the net there by Kreider and Ekholm. Man, Ekholm is such a baby. I really don't like him. Yeah, big hit by VL on, looks like that was Draisaitl. Or as Alprin says, Draisaitl. Sikoff, he touched it, no icing. Quick little commercial break here. Oh. So Anaheim is currently out hitting Edmonton 20-16. Of course, Anaheim has had 2 power plays. They've been able to convert on one of them. Blocks are 10-8 in favor of Anaheim. Shots on goal obviously favor Anaheim 21-11. They're also winning the faceoffs 20 out of 20 to the Oilers' 15. Ducks are at 57% on the faceoff dot, while the Oilers are at 43%. Of course, goaltenders, 857 save percentage for Ingram. McDavid a -1, Draisaitl a -1 so far, Kapanen a -1, Hyman a -1, Podkolzin as well. Lots of minuses for the Oilers in this one. Nugent Hopkins as well. Looks like Mike Trout is in attendance here in Anaheim watching the game. On defense, once again, a lot of -1s. Bouchard, Wallman, Ekholm, Emberson. Of course, Dostal, a 909 save percentage in this one. As faceoff is won by the Ducks. One timer goes wide. Puck battle for it in the corner. Oilers break out with it. They dump it off the boards. And the puck's going to go out of play. Neutral zone draw between the two sides in this one. Waiting for this neutral zone draw here. False start here. And looks like wave the centerman out. Oilers win the draw. They try and dump. Oh, big hit. Big hit by the Ducks, I should say. And Oilers turn it over. Ducks are able to fire it down. It's like Wallman's missing his stick here. Oilers turn it over. Quick shot off the post. Another shot goes out of play. Big hit by Washi on Emberson that I alluded to earlier. Oh, yeah, right off the post. Beat Ingram, but couldn't beat the post. For his post hits in the series, Edmonton with 4, Anaheim with 3 in this series. So lots of posts being hit in this series between the two sides. Now here comes Leo Carlson breaking it through to Terry, who fires it around. Lacombe back around down low. Back to Carlson, who isn't able to get there, but now here's Lacombe, who takes it down. Carlson, or to Lacombe. Shot wide. Chuba there. Oilers are able to intercept it. Fire it up. Seneca keeps it in, breaks it down, and it goes wide. Now here come the Oilers. Connor McDavid. Nurse tried to shovel it to McDavid, but intercepted. Lacombe. Seneca with it. Makes a move. Off the pads of Ingram there. Nice chancer by Seneca. .532 left in the second period. Puck in the corner, round behind the net. Killorn right there. Shots in this period are 13-4 in favor of Anaheim. They're absolutely outshooting Edmonton here. Big hit on Hellison. Puck in the corner. Quick shot, saved by Dostal. And the Ducks are able to get it out. There's Gauthier. Almost stole the puck there. Big hit by Gauthier. Carlson with it. Oilers with it behind the net. Back to the point. One-timer. Emberson. That looked like that was blocked. Emberson shoots. Rebound. Loose puck. Ducks are able to clear it. And that's going to be icing. 4:21 left in the second period. Shots are now 24-13 in favor of the Ducks. Draisaitl with a great chance there for Emerson. Yeah, Podkolzin right in front of the net. Nice chance there. Great save by Dostal there. Just getting the left pad out. Back to Bouchard. Wallman. Back to Bouchard. Over to Draisaitl with a one-timer, and that missed the net. There we go. Weimer. Podkolzin and Dostal with another big save. Podkolzin, a great chance there. Of course, us Canuck fans, of course, miss Podkolzin, especially with how well he's played for the Oilers since that trade. Many actually believe that Podkolzin trade is what led to the demise of Patrick Allvin. I've been hearing that the last couple of days. As we go to a commercial break here. Myself a little chip. So once again, Anaheim still leading in blocks, shots on goal, faceoffs won. Still leading the way in hits, although it looks like the Oilers have climbed a bit. They're up to now 22 hits in this one. And it looks like the referees have kind of put the whistles away after a few of those early those two penalties on the Oilers earlier in the first period that led to one of the Ducks' goals. All right, we're getting ready for back from the commercial break here. Of course, talking about Jackson Lacombe, how he has a goal and 8 assists in this series. Face off to the right of Dostal. So the Ducks are able to get possession of it, and they get it out to center ice before dumping it down into the Oilers zone. Ducks back to Lacombe. VL with it. Oilers able to take it away. Savoy lost the handle, and it gets sent back down into the Oilers' end. Ingram with it. And here comes McDavid. Absorbs a hit there. Here come the Oilers breaking it in. Shot, and it goes out of play. Yeah, Lacombe has played extremely well for the Ducks in this one. Honestly, if Lacombe keeps this up, and if Anaheim goes far, I would not be surprised if Lacombe is in the conversation for Conn Smythe if the Ducks go all the way. And he continues to play the way that he's been playing. As a faceoff now to the right of Dostal, won by the Oilers. Shot, saved by Dostal. That sounded like it. Rebound, still loose. Sounded like it went off the helmet of Dostal. Oilers, Murphy, over to Nurse, who dumps it down behind the net. Back to the point. Murphy just able to keep it in. Down low. Puck went wide. Oilers pressuring a little bit here. Ducks trying to get it out, but Oilers able to keep it in. Now here come the Ducks. They're finally able to clear it out to center ice. Nurse wires it down. Over 2.5 minutes. Just under 2.5 minutes left in the second period. Yep, shot, saved by Ingram. Troy Terry with another great chance. Back to Lacombe. One-timer, or slap shot, saved by Ingram. Now here comes Ekholm. 2 minutes to go in the second period. Now here come the Oilers. And the pass intercepted, but Podkolzin with it. Ekholm's able to get it in. Podkolzin with it now. Tried to feed it back, but it goes into the corner. Ducks able to clear it. And it looks like that went off Ekholm and out of play. Great chance there by the Oilers on Dostal. Minute 40 left in the second period here. Rozovic steals it out in front. Shoot. That scores. Although, hold up here. Might be a kicking motion. Oh, yeah, he kicked it in. He kicked it in. He went full on with the motion. That's no goal. They need to disallow that. That's not going to count. That's a full-on motion, kicking motion there. I'm in. It's not soccer. No goal. So that goal waved off. Face off in the neutral zone. Face off won by the Ducks. Less than a minute 30 left in the second period. Here come the Oilers now. Bouchard up to McDavid. Here comes McDavid with speed. Tried to feed it across, but no, Wallman can't keep it in. Ducks able to get it out. Oilers with it now. Here comes Roslovic. Round the net. Feed it out in front, but Hyman isn't able to get it. Puck cleared up. Now here comes Carlson. 2-on-1. Shot. Scores. Troy Terry. Less than a minute left in the second period here. And it's now 4-1 Anaheim. Less than 30 seconds left in the second period here. There comes Podkolzin. Anaheim is able to get it out. Granlund jabbing at it there. Carries third of the playoffs. Draisaitl around the boards. And that's going to escape the zone. And that's going to be the end of the second period. So Anaheim adds to their lead. They're now up 4-1. Sorry for the confusion there. I know it said 4-2 there for a second, and I was actually just waiting to see if that was the disallowed goal or not. But it is now 4-1 for the Anaheim Ducks. At the end of 40 minutes, they have a 4-1 lead as we go to the second intermission here. So, as what they just stated on the broadcast, the Anaheim Ducks are 20 minutes away from advancing to the next round and from eliminating the defending Western Conference champions. But now that we're going to the intermission, I want to start out by thanking the sponsor of this watch party, of course, none other than DraftKings Sportsbook, which is, of course, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. The Stanley Cup playoffs are here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, has a new customer offer. Bet player props, bet live from the opening faceoff to the final horn, where every moment matters. New DraftKings customers bet just $5 and you get $100 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN so you're ready for the moment. Once again, that is code THPN. Turn $5 into $100 in bonus bets instantly in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 and over in most states. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. Limited time offer.
All right. And let's take a look at our next article that I wanted us to look at. Let me just bring it up. Go all the way up to the top. Where was it? Right here. Let me share this tab. Stop a little bit. So all right, we're going to take a look at this article. Which teams do Canuck fans least want to see win the NHL Draft Lottery? And I want to hear from you guys in the chat, specifically, of course, Canuck fans in here. I really want to hear from you guys. What are your guys' thoughts on this? And let me know which teams do you least want to see win the NHL Draft Lottery? Let me know in the chat as we go over this article. Once again, by our good buddy, David Cordelli, better known as Quads. He wrote this one earlier this morning. And I believe he actually even tweeted about this as well over on X. On Tuesday, Daily Faceoff published their quote-unquote chaos rankings for the 2026 NHL Draft Lottery. The Vancouver Canucks, of course, have the best odds of landing the first overall pick at 25.5%, but they also have roughly a 55.7% chance of dropping down to third overall, according to Tankathon. Now, of course, Canucks draft lottery odds that we touched on a little bit earlier, 25.5% at first overall, 18.8% at second overall, and 55.7% at third overall. The draft lottery set to be held on May 5th at 4 p.m. Pacific time. So it looks like that is the official time for the draft lottery. Those will once again feature a live drawing of the lottery balls, so fans will be able to follow along in real time to see where their team will select in June's draft. Daily Faceoff's draft lottery chaos rankings. Before we dive into DFO's chaos rankings, we first need to explain what the term chaos ranking even means. Essentially, it seeks to rank which NHL teams winning the lottery would piss off the most opposing fan bases the most. Typically, these will be teams who already have a bevy of top prospects, teams that were a contender not all that long ago, or just teams that opposing fans don't really want to see succeed. Now that you know how the rankings work, it should come as no surprise to find out that the Florida Panthers came in at number 1 on the list. The Panthers won back-to-back Stanley Cups the past 2 seasons and were terribly banged up this season, With all the injuries, captain, of course, Sasha Barkov being the big one, Florida just wasn't really ever able to find their footing this season. And yet it feels a lot like the Panthers will be back with a vengeance next year, that their contention window is far from closed. So adding Gavin McKenna to that mix, yes, that would and should infuriate hockey fans everywhere, particularly Vancouver Canucks fans. I mean, it's great managing from Florida to put themselves in this position, but you're still right to be angry about it if that's how the balls fall on May 5th. They have a 6% chance of landing the first overall pick. Also high up on the chaos rankings was the Toronto Maple Leafs, who will head into May 5th with an 8.5% chance of landing the first overall pick. The 25-26 Leafs ended a 9-season playoff streak that began shortly after they were gifted Auston Matthews. Of course, after winning the NHL draft lottery in 2016, the Matthews-led Leafs haven't been able to do much of anything over their time in the playoffs, but you certainly wouldn't know it based on the coverage that team has gotten at the national level over the last decade. The Leafs have an uncertain road ahead of them, and hockey fans everywhere would prefer they embark on that road without Gavin McKenna or Ivar Stenberg on their roster. So let's take a look at the rest of Daily Faceoff's chaos rankings. Number 3 is the New York Rangers, who have an 11.5% odds at first overall. Chicago Blackhawks, a 13.5%, so slightly higher than the Rangers. San Jose Sharks with a 5.0%. Winnipeg Jets at a 6.5%. And of course, you have us at 7th with a 25.5% chance. A 3.0% chance for the St. Louis Blues, who come in at 8. 9th is the Seattle Kraken at 7.5. 10 is the Nashville Predators with a 3.5% chance. And of course, the Calgary Flames at 9.5% chance. So the second highest for first overall is the Blackhawks at 13.5%. And I know our good buddy Nick from Windy City Hockey probably really likes those odds. Now, which teams do Canuck fans least want to see win the lottery? Obviously, Canuck fans only really care that one team win the NHL draft lottery, and that's, of course, the Vancouver Canucks. Of course. Over on Canucks Conversation, live at 2 p.m. daily on Canucks Army YouTube channel and available wherever you get your podcasts. Little plug there. We run a draft lottery similar at the end of every show. Naturally, that's led to a wide range of results, and the reaction of our live chat has helped us determine that the teams Canuck fans least want to see win the lottery are pretty similar to Larkin's rankings. If we approach it from a Canucks perspective, though, the list will probably look more like this after Florida and Toronto. So you have Florida first, Toronto second, of course, the Calgary Flames, who are a divisional rival and had some success not that long ago. Number 4, Chicago Blackhawks. Chances of Connor Bedard being unhappy in Chicago to want to come to Vancouver as a UFA decrease. Also, just a general desire to see the Hawks fail. And of course, you don't want to see Bedard and McKenna, as that'll be quite the duo. Could very well rival Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid down the line. Number 5 comes in at New York Rangers. The JT Miller wounds seem to have healed thanks to such an awful season for the Rangers, but they've been a playoff team for years now, and nobody should get to successfully pull off a retool like they want to. Number 6, the San Jose Sharks. Adding McKenna to Celebrini's wing. We just talked about him playing potentially with Connor Bedard. Imagine if he played with Celebrini on his wing. That would also probably rival McDavid and Draisaitl. Not to mention the embarrassment of riches the Sharks still have coming down the pipeline seems unfair. Also division rivals. Number 7, Seattle Kraken. Hard to say whether Canucks fans would rank the Kraken, Blues, or even the Predators higher on this list, but because Seattle is in the Pacific Division, we'll say seeing McKenna land in Seattle would probably upset Canuck fans more than if he ended up in Nashville. Number 8, St. Louis Blues. You don't get to win a Stanley Cup within the last 10 years and also get the first overall pick. Sorry, we don't make the rules. This is basically a very watered-down version of why people don't want to see the Panthers win the lottery. Number 9, the Nashville Predators, recent playoff opponent. Number 10, the Winnipeg Jets. It feels like there's a little animosity between Canucks and Jets fans. The Jets often seem to be Canuck fans' second favorite Canadian NHL team as well. Number 11, Vancouver Canucks, obviously. Agree, disagree. let me know your thoughts in the chat right now. What do you guys think about this list? Let me know. And what list do you guys have? Do you have a separate or a different list to this? Would you move or maybe shuffle it around a little bit? Let me know what you guys think in the chat, and I will go ahead and I will read it. So just going to go back here. That disallowed goal. Cue the Broheim. Oh, and go. Don't want to see either San Jose, Chicago, Rangers. That's fair. Even the fucking Panthers of all teams. Yeah, that would probably be a big slap in the face if the Panthers won the lottery. That would be. I think it wouldn't just be Canuck fans who would be upset about it. I think it would be a lot of fans would be upset about that. Like, just in general, I feel. It wouldn't just be Canuck fans. It would be like, all 32 teams would not be happy about that whatsoever, for sure. So, but let me know what you guys think. Do you guys have your own list? Let me know what your guys' list. How would you rank these? Let me know. Put it in the chat. By all means, do so. But since we're still in the intermission, let's take a look at maybe another article here. Go to editorials. See, there's another little small one. Let's take a look at this one since it happened yesterday. Of course, for those of you that have been living under a rock as of late, of course, the Philadelphia Flyers are moving on to the second round after eliminating the Pittsburgh Penguins yesterday in overtime. Big goal from Cam York to seal it. Of course, Artur Silovs is eliminated, does not make it past the first round. And, of course, he was absolutely spectacular for the Penguins after they put him in net and after they took out Skinner. He really kept the Penguins in it for a couple games, and they were looking for him to do it again. But, unfortunately, he was not able to do it. And it's the Philadelphia Flyers who are moving on to the second round to face the Carolina Hurricanes. But let's take a look at this one. Written by our good buddy, our good friend, Tyson Cole. Also written earlier today. I believe it was written 7:45 this morning, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. While the Vancouver Canucks aren't actually in the playoffs, they of course have plenty of former players of the organization who are just with their new teams. Players such as Tanner Pearson for Buffalo, Luke Schenn for Buffalo, Elias Lindholm for Boston, Lucas Reichel in Boston as well, Nikita Zadorov, Jalen Chatfield for Carolina, Artur Silovs in Pittsburgh, Noah Juleson in Philadelphia, Casey DeSmith in Dallas, Tyler Myers in Dallas, Quinn Hughes in Minnesota, Ian Cole in Utah, Nate Schmidt in Utah as well, Nick Dowd with Vegas, Ben Hutton with Vegas, who actually scored the game winner the other night, Jason Dickinson for Edmonton, Curtis Lazar, and Vasily Podkolzin, all with Edmonton, and of course Andrei Kuzmenko for the Kings before they were eliminated, all earned a berth to the 2026 Stanley Cup Playoffs. And on Wednesday night, we saw former Canucks head coach Rick Tocchet and his Philadelphia Flyers eliminate his former netminder Artur Silovs and the Pittsburgh Penguins in their opening round matchup. In the Battle of Pennsylvania, Tocchet's Flyers came in and shocked the Penguins when they stole Game 1 with a 3-2 road victory, and in Game 2, they proved that their win was not a fluke as the Flyers secured a 3-0 shutout victory to sweep the first two games in Pittsburgh. Now, in front of their home fans, the Flyers kept their foot on the gas and put the Penguins on the brink of elimination with a 5-2 win in front of their home fans. That was enough for Penguins head coach Dan Muse to make a goaltending change, replacing Stuart Skinner with a familiar face for Tocchet and Silovs. Tocchet and Silovs spent time together, of course, with the Canucks during their 2024 playoff run. After a Thatcher Demko injury in Game 1 against the Nashville Predators, Silovs was summoned to play backup duty for Casey DeSmith, and when DeSmith reportedly tweaked something in Game 3, the Canucks went with a cautious approach to give Silovs the nod for Game 4. The Latvian netminder did not give the crease back and went on to close the series with a 1-0 shutout in Game 6 to advance to the second round against the Edmonton Oilers. The Canucks went on to lose the series in 7 games, but Tocchet stuck with the 23-year-old netminder for the entirety of the series. despite DeSmith being well and healthy on the bench. Fast forward to 2026, and the two faced off against each other for Game 4 of a series against the Flyers and Penguins. The goaltending change seemed to give the Penguins a spark of life, as Pittsburgh went on to avoid the sweep, with Seelov stopping 28 of 30 shots he faced. Game 5 was more of the same, as the Penguins survived yet another game, backstopped by Seelov, who stopped 18 of 20 shots in Game 5. Now, with all the momentum on their side, the Penguins were one game away from forcing the improbable Game 7 after being down 3-0, but the Flyers made it tough on Seelovs, throwing 20 shots his way. Seelovs, of course, stopped them all. But some of that previous head coaching experience helped Tocchet, as he had the scouting report on how to beat Seelovs' high shots from a distance. It was one of those that ended up beating Seelovs with just over 2 minutes remaining in overtime. Of course, there's a tweet there from ESPN of the Flyers moving on. I won't play the clip. You guys can find the clip on X, of course, or on YouTube. They came close to sending this series the distance, and the Penguins might have deserved a better fate in Game 6 as they heavily outshot the Flyers. Both goaltenders had a strong outing, but it was Dan Vladar and Rick Tocchet who bested Archer Seelovs and will play the Carolina Hurricanes in Round 2 of the 2026 Stanley Cup Playoffs. And that is the end of the article right there. So there you guys go. Once again, let me know what you guys' projections are for that Philadelphia and Carolina series. Do you think Philadelphia has a chance against Carolina? Do you think that perhaps Philadelphia might surprise Carolina? Or do you think Carolina is going to walk all over Philadelphia? And potentially, could it be another sweep for the Hurricanes? You would hope that the Flyers will put up much more of a fight than the Senators did against the Hurricanes. But I want to know from you guys. Let me know in the chat. Who do you think is going to win that series? And let me quickly take a look at this poll. Once again, this is your last chance to vote. Who do you think is going to win this game? Type a 1 if you think the Anaheim Ducks are going to win. Type a 2 in the chat if you think the Oilers are going to be able to come back in this one and tie things up and enforce a Game 7. Let me know right now in the chat. We're going to close this poll at the end of this intermission. So get your votes in. All you got to do is comment a 1 for the Ducks, comment a 2 for the Oilers. Let me know what you guys think in the chat, and we will close this poll at the end of this intermission that is just about getting ready to wrap up here. So go ahead and get your last minute votes in. If you have not voted, this is your last chance to do so. And we will be closing this poll at the start of the third period. Of course, the Ducks get a chance to clinch at home for the first time since, I believe it was, 2017, I think? And it was at home against, believe it or not, against the Oilers. So there's some history there. All right, we're getting ready here. Last chance to get your votes in for the poll before I close it. All right. Ending the poll now. We stay at 50-50 even. Only 2 votes in that one, but that's okay. As here we go. Face off here. A loud "Let's Go Ducks" chant echoing throughout the Honda Center here. A little bit of a delay here, and the puck is dropped. Oilers able to get possession of it as they break it in. Tried to dump it down, but the Ducks tried to clear it there. A little sloppy. Excuse me. Puck goes all the way down to Dostal, who plays it to the left. A loud Ingram chant echoing throughout the Honda Center here now. goes all the way down to the Oilers zone, and that's going to be icing on the Ducks. 19-20, about a little over 30 seconds into the second period. Shots are 26-18 for the Ducks in this one. Of course, the Ducks with a 3-goal lead. Oilers are probably going to have to come out flying in this third period to try and get things going here. Now here come the Ducks. Comes Terry, stops, fires it around the boards. Oilers get it. Oilers are able to try to chip it out, but the Ducks keep it in, dump it back down into the corner. Nice move there. Oilers with it in the corner. Try and chip it out, but the Ducks are able to keep it in. Carlson. Shot was blocked. Now here come the Oilers. Draisaitl. Over. Fires it. Ducks. Oilers score. Kasperi Kapanen with his team-leading 5th goal of the playoffs, and that's exactly what the Oilers needed in this one. They are now only down by 2. It's like what I just said. They need to gain some momentum here. They need to come out guns a-blazing, and a great shot by Kapanen. Fires it off quickly. And you know Dostal is going to want that one back. Face-off won by the Ducks. Oh, it's looking like it might be Podkolzin. They're saying it's Podkolzin. Assisted by Kapanen and Draisaitl. Maybe it bounced off of Podkolzin. Right. Edmonton with it. Wraps it back around the boards. Ducks are able to get it out to center. Now here come the Ducks stealing it. Gauthier. Across center's great chance there by Poehling. Great save by Ingram. Poehling couldn't get it there. Shots are now 26-20 in favor of Anaheim. Loud boos now coming from the crowd. Hyman tried to feed it across, but intercepted by the Ducks as they clear it. All right, puck goes over to the other side. Ekholm. Bouchard kind of almost gives the puck away there. No penalty. Ducks with it. Back in their own zone. Here comes Leo Carlson now. Breaks it out past center ice. Over to Terry. Over to Carlson. Shimmies it over to there. Now here come the Oilers. Draisaitl with it. Pass across. Intercepted by the Ducks as they bring it back out. Here comes Terry. Draisaitl with it. Fending off Killorn. Check from Poehling. Ducks regain possession of it. And it's dumped down into the Oilers zone. Ingram with it. Round the boards. Off Killorn. Pass over to Poehling. Shot. Deflected. Goes all the way to the point. Back down low. Oilers with it. Here comes Podkolzin. Oilers with it again. Here comes Walman. There's the Ducks with it. Up the boards. Up to center ice. Down into the Oilers zone. Ducks with it. Oh, puck goes loose. Oilers with it now. boos coming from the Ducks crowd as the Oilers game plan. Oilers fire it up down into the Ducks zone. Puck's going to go out of play. Just a little over 5 minutes into this third period, Oilers are able to get one. They're within 2. All right, face off to the right of Dostal. Oh, no. Yeah, that's right. All right. Ducks trying to get it out. Chuba flips it out to center ice. Ducks able to intercept, and they fire it down into the Edmonton zone. Five minutes in. Puck flipped into the Oilers zone. Killorn with it in the corner. Here come the Oilers. They dump it in. Ducks with it. They flip it down. And it's cleared into the Oilers zone. Dickinson. Over to Murphy. Back to Dickinson. Fired down into the Anaheim zone. Dostal flips it up center ice. Kreider tried to go cross ice, but it's intercepted by Savoy. Now here comes the Oilers as they get it, pass it back. Here's Nurse. More boos from the crowd. Now here comes the Oilers. Draisaitl over to Podkolzin. Back to Draisaitl. Over in front. Wallman not able to handle it there. One-timer by Draisaitl. Loose puck. Saved by Dostal. One-timer. Wide. Loose puck. Ducks are able to get it. Second effort. The Ducks are able to clear it to center ice. Here's Wallman as he gets it back in. Draisaitl with it. Now Ducks are able to flip it down to the Oilers zone. Podkolzin loses the handle on it, but he fires it around the boards. Kapanen. Here come the Ducks now. Ducks are able to keep it in at the line. Carlson to Seneca. Passes it back down. Ooh. Big hit there. There comes McDavid. Over. Pass goes wide to Roslovic. Ducks turned over. Now here come the Ducks. Killorn fires it down to the Oilers zone. 12.5 left in this third period now. Bouchard pass it up. McDavid with it. Battling with Lacombe there in the corner. And that puck goes all the way down into the Oilers zone. That's going to be an icing. So there's a whistle. Great chance by Draisaitl, man. Dostal just barely got a blocker on that one. Puck or face off to the right of Dostal. Darnell Nurse tried to pass it to, looks like Kapanen, but went wide. Back to Nurse. In front, deflected away. Oilers retain control of it. And now here come the Ducks, able to break it out to center ice, and they just flip it down in to Ingram, who passes it off to the side to Nurse. Oilers with it. behind the net. Here come the Oilers, breaking it out. Past center ice. Chips it down. Kreider tried to... Oh, here come 2-on-1. Carlson. Shot. Oh, he went shot wide. There's John Carlson with it around the net. Back to the point. Down low. The point. Minchukov to Kreider. Down behind the net. Terry with it. Back to the point. Minchukov to Carlson. Back to Minchukov. Down low to Terry. Checked by Emberson there. Terry tried to keep that in. Nurse with it. Now here come the Oilers. Breaking it past center ice, and Nurse just fires it down. And that's going to be icing on the Oilers. That's going to be icing on the Oilers. As we are down to 10:41 left in the third period. Great chance by Carlson. Yeah, that just went completely wide. And you can see the reaction from Carlson afterwards. Face off to the right of Ingram. Once again, 10:41 left in this third period. Oilers with it around the net. Podkolzin fires it down into the Anaheim zone. Anaheim with it. There's Drew Hellison. Pass up to Seneca, who kind of just chips it in. That's going to be icing on Anaheim. Of course, tomorrow, Montreal and Tampa Bay. Montreal looking to end the series tomorrow afternoon. Face off to the right of Dostal. Looks like false start there. And McDavid and Draisaitl are on the ice together. All right, face off. It's like it was won by the Ducks there. Granlund with the win, and the Ducks are able to get it deep into the Oilers zone so they can change. VL fires it back down, and that's going to be icing again. Yeah, VL did not need to do that. Just over 10 minutes remaining in the third period here. As we get another face-off to the right of Dostal. Washi, 10 for 10 on the face-offs here tonight, as he wins another one. He's now 11 for 11. And the puck gets cleared down into the Oilers zone. There's Draisaitl with it. Draisaitl tried to feed up to McDavid, but it was just out of his reach. Now here come the Ducks. Washi shot, saved by Ingram. Now here comes McDavid. Now here comes Draisaitl with it. Falls over. Now here comes Terry back the other way. 3 on, odd man rush. 4-on-1. Carlson just missed the pass. Could have been a one-timer there. Here comes the Oilers again. Draisaitl chips it in. Savoy coming in now. Back to the Oilers. We're at center ice. That pop deflected there. Minchukov with a big hit there in the behind the net. Whistle. hand pass on Colton Dach and the Oilers. 8:49 left in the third. Oilers down by 2. Man, is it just me, or is this game going by really, really fast compared to the game last night? All right. Taking a look at the box score. So blocks are now 13-9 in favor of the Ducks. Shots on goal are now 28-22 in favor of the Ducks still. Faceoffs won 29 for the Ducks, 23 for the Oilers. Ducks have a 56% faceoff percentage of 56, and the Oilers have a 44%. Hits are now 29-26 in favor of the Ducks. So once again, the Oilers getting up there in the hits, and still only 2 power plays in this game. One of them that the Ducks were able to convert on, and so far no power plays for the Oilers, which they just mentioned on the broadcast. Oilers have yet to get a power play in this game. Looking at the goaltenders, Ingram, 24 saves on 28 shots, a .857 save percentage, just under 60 minutes time on ice. Of course, you have McDavid, who is a -2, Podkolzin, who's a -1, Hyman, who's a -2, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is a -1. Dach, Szymanski, and Lazar are all a +1. Nurse a +1, Bouchard a -2, Connor Murphy a +1, Wallman a -1, and then Ekholm a -1 as well. Of course, you have Dostal, who has 20 saves on 22 shots, a .909 save percentage. Of course, Troy Terry with the 2-point night in this one, Carlson with the 2-point night, Kreider with the 2-point night, Gauthier with the 2-point night. So we're just getting things back going here after that quick commercial. As there's a face-off in the neutral zone. Oilers win the face-off. Fired down. Dostal plays it, hands it off. John Carlson off the boards. The Oilers regain possession of it. Now here come the Oilers. Shot wide, and it almost, whoa. Dostal nearly had this hit his skate and go in. Nurse around the boards. Oilers pressuring a little bit here. Draisaitl back to the point. One-timer. Great save by Dostal. And the Ducks are able to clear it. Anaheim changing here. There's some pushing. Something going on out of view. Kapanen and Washington shoving each other a little bit there. Drew a reaction from the crowd. And the puck escapes the zone again. Puck around the boards. Oilers with it in the corner. Ducks able to intercept it. Terry tried to clear it, but it went off at Oilers' skate. Kreider is able to get it out to center. Ducks with it in their own zone. 7 minutes remaining in this one. Oilers still down by 2. Lacombe with it behind the net, and he gets taken down. No call. Loud boos from the crowd. They wanted a penalty there, but it looks like the refs are just going to let him play. Puck battle behind the net there. Puck comes loose. Anaheim is able to get it. Seneca hacks at it, and here comes Killorn. Dumps it down into the Oilers zone. Again, going up against Ekholm here. Puck clears out to center. Carlson with it, who just flips it down into the Oilers zone. Paling intercepts it as Ingram kind of was caught out of his net. Ingram covers it up, and there's going to be a whistle. with 6:09 left in the third period. So keep an eye on Ingram. We'll see if he might come out of the net. Yeah, 6:09 left in this third period as we go to a quick commercial break here. So with 6:09 left in the third period, do you guys think the Oilers are going to be able to make a comeback with 6 minutes and 9 seconds left? They need 2 goals to tie it up. Do you guys think the Oilers are going to be able to do it? Let me know in the chat what you guys think. And once again, as I mentioned earlier, Minnesota defeated Dallas, so they advanced to the next round. Could we see another advance, this time by the Ducks, by the end of this one? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Can Edmonton mount a comeback with 6:09 left in the third period? Can they do it? Give me a yes or give me a no in the chat. If the Oilers are going to be able to mount the comeback with 6:09 left in the third period. As we get going here, face off to the left of Ingram. And the Ducks with it at center ice now. Oilers gain possession of it now. Here comes Podkolzin over to Kapanen. And the Honda Center is loud right now in this one. Ducks are able to get it out to center. Now here come the Ducks. Gauthier thought it may have been offside there, so he kind of pivots there. Little odd stop. Now here come the Oilers with it. Podkolzin. Here comes Draisaitl. In the corner. Oilers sent around the boards to Woolman, who chips it back in. Ducks are able to clear it. Out to center. VL. Lacombe spins. VL backhand. Saved by Ingram. That's going to be icing. No, never mind. No icing. I stand corrected. It's going to keep an eye on Ingram. 4:50 left in the third period now. Here comes Seneca. Oilers able to get it back, and they send it down to McDavid. There's McDavid. Ripped around the boards. Goes into the corner. Ducks able to chip it out. Now here comes Seneca. Ingram racing. Wow, Ingram took out Seneca there a little bit. That goes all the way down to the Oilers zone. And he chips it down. Now here come the Oilers. 4 minutes left in the third period. Shot. That went out of play. Savoy with a great chance there. 3:57 left in this third period. Oilers down by 2. Man, wow, Ingram pulling a Kachetkov there with the diving and preventing that Beckett Seneca breakaway there. Great chance. As we go to yet another commercial break, hopefully our last of the game. But once again, thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it. And I will keep you guys posted on when the next watch party is. Be sure to look at that community tab as I will post when the next watch party is, or have your notifications turned on. And of course, while you're at it, if you can hit that like button and subscribe to the line change. And that way and also turn on your notifications so you don't miss, like I said, any watch parties that are upcoming or any videos, whether it's Canucks related, draft related content, or even stuff about, just Canuck news in general. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the line change and have your notification bell turned on so you don't miss out on those notifications when we upload a newest video or schedule our next watch party. And of course, if you guys like to gamble, of course, you guys can also use our promo code THPN with DraftKings, which is, as I mentioned earlier, a sponsor of this watch party. Once again, you can use the promo code THPN and you can save yourselves some money with DraftKings. As we get set for the third period, this last under 4 minutes, and Edmonton not wasting any time. They have pulled the goalie, so Ingram is on the bench. The Oilers have an empty net now with 3:57 left in the third period here. Face off to the right of Anaheim. Battle there by Anaheim. Bouchard around the boards. Down low. McDavid. Draisaitl. Back to the point. Ekholm fires it back in. Ducks with it. Chips it through. McDavid with it. Back to the point to Ekholm. To Bouchard. McDavid. Centers off the pads of Dostal. And the puck goes all the way down. And they're going to wave off the icing. Down to just over 3 minutes left in the third period. Oilers with the empty net here. Dostal fires it around the boards. Neutral zone face-off. Bouchard was not inside the line there. The referees ruled. .305 left in the third period here. Just in front of the Anaheim bench here in the neutral zone. Ingram back in the net. Shots are now 30-24 in favor of the Ducks. Face off won by the Oilers, and they fires it in. There goes Ingram to the bench. Oilers snapped it off, and it went off his skate. Wallman keeps it in. Kreider is able to Bouchard with a one-timer blocked. Ducks trying to clear it. They can't get it out. And the Ducks are finally able to clear it to center. Here's Carlson. Shoots it. Scores. It's now 5-2 for the Ducks. And it's Leo Carlson. You know he's not going to miss that one. Two minutes and 34 seconds left in this third period. Oilers get it up to center ice. Ducks with it. Puck up in the air. Here come the Oilers. Brozovic fanned on a shot. Oilers bring it down. Shot saved by Dostal. 2:09 left in the third period now. Man, what a player, Leo Carlson, man. Four and one, and you miss. Yeah, that was way earlier. All right, face off. Oilers with possession. Mike 15, welcome. I did not see the Oilers losing this one. And just missed the empty net. Welcome to the watch party, Mike 15. Just incredible. That does it. Minute 50, shooting. Nugent Hopkins, saved by Dostal. And it looks like there was a bit of a jab on Dostal by the Oilers. Some pushing and shoving. McDavid's in there with it. Ekholm, of course, the crybaby's in there. Ekholm being held back. Let's see here. No worries, man. You're very welcome. Now, of course, I mentioned in our last watch party, I'm no Cheech, but I'm doing the best that I can. But this has been obviously a lot of fun covering the majority of this series. So I will probably continue to cover the Ducks for the rest of the playoffs. Just because, like I said, there's such a fun team to watch. Draisaitl. Draisaitl being a cry shithole there. Leo Carlson, what a series. Yeah, absolutely. What a player, like I said. Minute 40 left in this first period. Oilers net is still empty. One timer went wide. McDavid shot goes into the corner. Paling trying to clear it. Killorn seemed like a lackadaisical pass there. The comb. Oilers keep it in. Shot saved by Dostal. 1 minute and 11 seconds left in the third period. But yeah, after this one, there's obviously going to be some huge questions for the Edmonton Oilers and, of course, Connor McDavid. So expect those to come out after this, probably in the post-game scrum. And within the coming days, you're going to hear probably a lot about that when it comes to the Edmonton Oilers and Connor McDavid's future. Ducks with it in the corner. Fire it down. It's like he was aiming for the empty net there. 1 minute remaining in the third period now. McDavid fires it in. And here we go. Ducks with it at center ice. 45 seconds up. Shot missed the open net. Oilers with it. Bouchard. Oilers fire it down around the boards. 20 seconds left in the third period. Lots of cheers coming from the Anaheim crowd. And the Oilers are just going to play keep away, I think, for right now. They know it's over. Less than 10 seconds. And that's going to do it. Game over. Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Mike. I think McDavid will give them at least one more year to run it back. Yeah, and I believe McDavid himself was playing not at 100% in this one, as you saw earlier on in the series. But yes, congrats to the Ducks. These kids have been exciting to watch. That's a big reason why I've been doing the Ducks and Oilers series, like focusing on it, and that's a big reason why I was cheering for the Ducks, because these kids are so exciting to watch. You got your Leo Carlson, Cutter Gauthier, Lacombe, Troy Terry. I know he's not a young kid, but even Dostal. They got such a young and exciting team. It's hard to root against them. And I'm definitely going to be rooting for them going forward here in the Western Conference for sure. I would love to see a Utah and Anaheim series. So I think that would be absolutely fantastic. Two young teams going at it would be awesome. But that is the end of the Oilers and Ducks series. Of course, the Anaheim Ducks moving on to the second round. The defending Western Conference champions have been officially eliminated. And as I mentioned earlier, we now aren't going to have a game on Saturday, as the Wild knocked off the Dallas Stars earlier, eliminating them and advancing to the second round. And then you had, which would have been game 7 for this series on Saturday, now won't be happening. And so, yeah, there's going to be no hockey, at least NHL playoff hockey on Saturday. So it's going to be interesting. I know it's felt like every single night there's been at least a hockey game on, at least for the NHL playoffs. But for once, Saturday is going to be no games on tap because of the 2 eliminations here tonight. But I hope you guys enjoyed this watch party. Once again, thank you guys to those that came in. Thank you to Mike 15 for coming by for the first time, as well as way earlier. Got to go all the way to the top. Ducky the Monk for showing up. Obviously, Justin Credible, Swerve and Irvin, Rain, Chartle, Alfred. Who else was in here? Harry was in here earlier. Thank you all for showing up. I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to be on the lookout for the next watch party. Of course, like I said, hit that like button, subscribe to the line change, and have your notification bell turned on so you don't miss when the next watch party will be. I'll be sure to let you guys know in my community tab when the next watch party will be. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Once again, hit that like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next watch party.